All right, Algebra 2, 8-1, multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple things, concepts here. And so we're going to look at this here. If I have 8 over 12, this is the same as 2 times 4 over 3 times 4. So I just factored these a certain way. 4 over 4, that 4 divided by 4, that's 1, right? So I end up with 2/3. So this is a concept we're going to be using here in a moment. Now, here is the concept that I want you to really understand here. Notice how this is multiplication. If I have x plus 2 over x minus 5. So now I have addition and subtraction in here. I am not allowed to just cross out this x. Notice I have addition and subtraction. Here is multiplication, so I can divide out that number. Here I've got addition and subtraction. I can't. That doesn't work. Because look, if I have, let's say x equals 6. 6 plus 2 over 6 minus 5. That gives me 8 over 1. If I were to just cross these two out, then I get 2 over negative 5. That is not the same as 8 over 1. So this, I'm just showing you here that when you have addition and subtraction, you can't just cross out variables or numbers or whatever. When it's multiplication, you can, because any number divided by itself is 1. You can cross that out and ignore it. But this is different. Okay, I'm belaboring my point. So negative 2/5 does not equal 8 over 1. That's why this does not work. Okay, let's do some examples and see if we can work with this. I've got x squared minus 4x plus 3 over x squared minus 6x plus 5. And I want to simplify this fraction here, this rational expression. And so what I need to do is I need to factor both of these things. And in order to factor this, I have to remember way back in Algebra 1, what do I multiply together to get positive 3 and add together to get negative 4. So I need to think, okay, what do I multiply together to get positive 3, add to get negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 1 gives me positive 3, and if I add them together, then I get negative 4. So that works, negative 1 and negative 3. All right, now I need to look at this one down at the bottom. Notice how I didn't say x squareds go away and x's go away, right? And the 3 and the 6, I can factor those. I can't do that. Because I have this addition and subtraction here, I can't do that. I've got to factor this, and then I'll see if there's anything I can cancel out here. Multiply together to get positive 5, add to get negative 6. Oh, kind of the same thing as the one on the top. Negative 1 and, oh no, not negative 1. Yeah, negative 1 and negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. Negative 1 plus negative 5 is negative 6. So that's how I factor those. And so now look, I've got an x minus 1 and an x minus 1. Now I can cancel those. That becomes 1. And so now I have x minus 3 over x minus 5. And that's my fraction there. That's my simplified version of this. Let's do another one together, and then I'll have one or two for you to do on your own. 5x times x squared plus 4x plus 3 over x minus 6 times x squared minus 9. All right, we got to keep reaching back into our Algebra 1 stuff. I need to factor this, and I need to factor this. There's nothing to factor in these two. So then hopefully I'll have some stuff to cross out. So 5x times whatever this factors to be, and then I'll have x minus 6 times whatever this factors to be. All right, so what do I multiply together to get positive 3, add to get positive 4? That's x plus 1 and x plus 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now, x squared minus 9, that's a difference of squares, and so I say x minus 3, x plus 3. So the square root of x is x, the square root of 9 is 3, 1 is positive and 1 is negative. And that's how we do. If I were to FOIL this out, I would end up with this. If I was to FOIL this out, I'd end up with this. Okay, let's see if there's anything that I can simplify. I've got an x plus 3 and an x plus 3, and that's it. There's nothing else I can do to this one. So 5x times x plus 1 over x minus 6 times x minus 3. That's it. That's all I got. All right, you try one. 4y times y minus 3 times y plus 4 over y times y squared minus y minus 6. All right, so simplify this as much as you can. All right, pause the video and go. Okay, let's see how you did here. So the top is already factored for you. There's nothing you can do to that. 4y, y minus 3, y minus 4. Now at the bottom, I have y times, let's see, I've got a negative 1 and a negative 6. So I need to decide what do I multiply together to get negative 6 and add together to get negative y. Let's see, negative 1 and, positive 1 and negative 6. No, positive 1 and negative 6, of course not. Of course not. How about negative 3 and positive 2? Negative 3 and positive 2. That'll give me a negative 1 if I add them, and if I multiply them, I get negative 6. There you go. All right, negative 3, positive 2. Negative 3's go away. The y minus 3's, I should say. I can't do anything with these guys, but I can take these y's out of here. And so I end up with 4 times y minus 4 over y plus 2. And that's as simplified as it gets. Now, here's something that we haven't talked about yet, and something that we're going to need to talk about more. Remember how you can't have 0 in the denominator? And so we need to look at this denominator and say what values y cannot be. Y cannot be 0, because if y is 0, then 0 times all this is 0. And then y also can't be positive 3, because that would make this 0 and everything would be 0. Also can't be negative 2. Which would be this, make the denominator 0. So this needs to be part of the answer as well. That's something we haven't looked at yet. So up here, we would say x cannot be 6, 3, or negative 3. And for this one up here, we say x cannot be positive 1 or positive 5. So whatever makes the denominator 0, the variable is not allowed to be those values. Let's do another u try. 2x times x plus 5 times x squared plus 2x minus 8 all over x minus 1 times x plus 5 times x minus 2. Oh, this one is pretty well factored already. All right, so first list what values x can't be, and then simplify this as much as you can. All right, go ahead and pause and get to work. All right, let's see how you did. So this bottom, the denominator is already factored as much as it's going to be. So x cannot be positive 1, cannot be negative 5, and cannot be positive 2. Those numbers would make the denominator 0, which we're not allowed to have. The top is almost all the way factored, but I need to factor this polynomial here. So 2x times x plus 5. Then I'm going to have two more guys up there, and then down on the bottom I got x minus 1, x plus 5, x minus 2. Oh, those x plus 5s, let's get rid of those already. Goodness. Now, what do I multiply together to get negative 8, add together to get positive 2? So let's see here, 4 and 2 are factors of 8, and that's a 2, so that might work out pretty well. Positive 4, negative 2 maybe? X plus 4, x minus 2, that'll get me a negative 8. And if I add them together, that'll give me a positive 2. All right, that looks good. Let's get rid of these x minus 2's. And now I just have these guys left over. 2x times x plus 4 over x minus 1. And there it is. That's all she wrote for that one. We're going to do, so for the rest of this, we're going to just keep doing examples. They're going to vary a little bit from case to case. We're going to keep going here. Simplify. I'm just going to keep doing more examples. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and maybe even some more bonus ones here. Let's just see how it goes. All right, I've got 4w squared plus 3wy times w plus y over 3y minus 4w and 5w plus y. All right, for these ones, we're not going to worry about what can't be 0 down here at the bottom. We're not going to worry about that. Notice how we have two different variables here, and so we've got that issue going for us. Let's see what we can do to factor some of this out and maybe cross some things out of here. So I've got 5 times w plus y. So I can't just cross out these w plus y's here because 5 is messing this up. But let's see if we can factor something out up here so that we can cross some stuff out. Notice in this expression, I've got a w in this term and a w in this term. I don't have any other common factors in either of these terms, but the w's I can take out. So I'm going to say w times 4w, so I should have just a w left in here if I divide this one out, plus 3y times y plus w plus y over, there's nothing I can do to any of these. I can't factor anything out. So negative 4w, oops, sorry, I wrote that. I'm looking at that 4. Where's my eraser? 3y minus 4w. Times 5w plus y. Okay, now we are looking, oh, sorry, this should be minus here. That's the problem. Well, that's one of the problems. So change this to minus. Sorry, people at home. Okay, now look at these two terms here. I've got 4w minus 3y, and I've got 3y minus 4w. These are not the same thing. They look very, very similar, and you might be tempted to just cross these out. There is something we can do to make these the same, and that is I can factor out a negative 1 from either the top or the bottom. And that way it'll switch the signs. This would be negative and this would be positive, and this would be, so that would be the same as what we have below here. So let's take out a negative 1 from this one up here, and then we'll have the same expression as below. So w times negative 1, so I've divided a negative 1 from 4w, so I've got negative 4w now. I took out a negative from here, so I'm going to have positive 3y. And this y, w plus y stays the same over there. And now on the bottom, I have 3y minus 4w, 5w plus y. Okay, so now I've got negative 4w, positive 3y. So I could rewrite either of these. I could switch the w, the 4w, and the y, just keep the negative with the 4w, positive with the 3y, and I can cross these out because they're the same now. And then I'm just left with negative 1 times w, negative w times w plus y over 5w plus y. Whew. Let's do another one. Let's have you do one. Very, very similar to the one we just did. xz minus 4z over z squared times 4 minus x. Okay, so when you factor this one out, I'll give you a little heads up here. You're going to take the z out of here, right, because you've got two z's, and then you're going to have an x minus 4 and 4 minus x. You're going to have to take out a negative 1 in one of these so they'll be the same, and then you can divide those out. Okay, pause and get to work on this one. Let's see how you do. All right. I'm going to factor out a z like I told you to do. X minus 4 is all that's left inside there. If I were to multiply the z back in there, I would have the same expression. So these are equivalent. And then on the bottom, I'm just going to leave it the way it is, z squared 4 minus x. Okay, x minus 4, 4 minus x. I'm going to take a negative 1 out of one of these, and then they'll be the same. So if I take a negative 1 out of this one, out of the one on top, I'll get z times negative 1. And then I'm going to switch these to 4 minus x now, because just to make it look like the one that's on the bottom. But when I take out that negative 1, the 4 becomes positive, the x becomes negative. 4 is positive, x is negative. Z squared, 4 minus x. Now I can cross those out because 4 minus x divided by 4 minus x is 1. Now I also have two z's here, z times z. So I can cross out two of those. Z divided by z is 1. And so now I end up with just negative 1 over z. So what I did right here, I'll show you, just in case. Z squared is z times z. So I can cross out z divided by z is 1, and I'm just left with that 1z in the denominator, and negative 1 on the top. All right, you try another one. AB squared minus 5AB over 5 plus B times 5 minus B. All right, let's see what you can do with this one. Go. All right, let's see how you did. Now, both of these terms, first off, the bottom, I can't do anything to the bottom. It is what it is. So let me just write that off. 5 plus b, 5 minus b. Okay, let's look at the top here. So both of these terms have an a, and both of these terms have at least one of these b's. So I'm going to take out ab. And so when I do that, from this one, all that's left is b. Minus 5, and then AB, I took that out here, so there we go. If I want to check my work, I multiply this AB back in there. I should have this when I'm all done distributing that. Now I've got B minus 5, and I've got 5 minus B. Oh man, all this having to take out a negative. All right, so I'm going to take out a negative 1 from this one. So I'm going to say AB times negative 1 times, and I'm going to switch this to positive 5 because I took out a negative 1, and negative b because I took out a negative 1, over 5 plus b, 5 minus b. Those become 1. And now this negative 1 I'll just multiply here. Negative ab over 5 plus b. And that is my answer for that one. Whew. All right, we got some more examples to do. This is going to look a little bit different. I've got 18 x times y cubed over 7a squared b squared divided by 12x squared y over 35a squared b. Okay, so we got to remember, what do I do when I'm dividing fractions? I need to flip this one, and then I can change my sign to multiplication. So this equals 18x y cubed over 7a squared b squared times the reciprocal of this, 35a squared b over 12x squared y. Okay, now that I'm multiplying everything together, I can just start canceling stuff because we multiply straight across. So I could rewrite all of this if I wanted to, or I'm already multiplying. There's no addition or subtraction going on here. I can just start crossing stuff off. So I've got a squareds, those go away. I've got an x squared and an x. So I can take this x away and make this just x to the 1 power of 1. Let's see, I've got a y here and a y cubed here, so this is going to be y squared. I've got a b and a b squared, so this squared will go away and that b will go away. Yes, and then let's keep going here. I've got 18, 12, 35, and 7. 7 goes into 35 5 times. 12 and 18 both have 6 in them, so there are 2 6s in 12, and there are 3 6s in 18. Whew, this looks like a mess. All right, that's okay. Let's write what's left. I think we have factored everything we can. So on the top here, I've got 3y squared and 5. All of those are multiplied together, so I've got 15y squared. In the denominator, I have 2x. Oh, and a b as well. 2bx. Is that everything I have? 15y squares, 2bx. Yep. Make sure that's a b and not a 6. Whew. So that's how that works. So let's have you go ahead and do 1 or 2 of these on your own. And then, yep, 1 of these, and then we'll switch gears a little bit again. Whew. Man, this is a big assignment. This might end up being 2 videos, huh? Another one. You try. 12c cubed d squared over 21ab divided by 8c squared d over 14a squared b. All right, you try this one. Remember to flip this and then multiply across. Let's see how you did. 12c cubed d squared over 21ab times, I flipped these guys, so now I've got 14a squared b over 8c squared d. Everything's being multiplied together, so I don't have to be scared about any addition and subtraction. I can just start making everything 1. So the b's are going to go away. This d and the d squared, I end up with just d here on the top. C cubed and c squared, all right, so that becomes c to the 1 power. 8 and 12 both have 4 in them, so I'm going to take, there are 2 4s in 8, there are 3 4s in 12, there are 3 7s in 21, and there are 2 7s in 14. 2 and 2, those go away. 3 and 3, ooh, those go away too. Now what do I have left? I've got a c and a d and an a squared. Oh, I didn't take care of this a and a squared. All right, so what do I have left now for reals? C, D, A, C, D. We generally put them in alphabetical order. Over nothing, over 1. There we go. So you might have CDA or ADC or DCA, whatever. That's fine. They're all multiplied together. And that should be your answer for that one. All right, let's do a few more examples, and then we'll be done with this lesson. you might see something on your homework that looks like this. A plus b over 4 over a squared plus b squared over 4. Now here's what I do. If I see this, I look at this and I go, what is going on? I have no idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as a plus b over 4 divided by, remember this is divided by, a squared plus b squared over 4. There are other ways to do this, but this is the way I do it. And if you learned another way and you like that better, go ahead and do it that way. It's fine. But I rewrite it so that I can understand what the heck is going on. Now, I take this, I flip it, and I get a plus b over 4 times 4 over a squared plus b squared. Okay, so now I don't get to cross anything off. I could cross these 4's off, but I'm not going to do it yet because I need to multiply like this. I'm multiplying straight across, multiplying straight across. So I have 4 times a plus b over 4 times a squared plus b squared. All right, so the 4's go away. Now I can just say, oh, a, b, and a squared plus b squared, I can just cross those off. No, I can't. Because of this plus issue here. A squared plus b squared is not a plus b times a plus b. A plus b times a plus b is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. It's not the same. I can't factor this. So those 4's go away, and I'm left with a plus b over a squared plus b squared. There's nothing I can do to this. It's all done. All right, you try one. X squared over x squared minus y squared over 4x over y minus x. All right, go ahead and get this one done, see how you do, and we'll probably just have one more example after this, and we'll be done with the lesson. Hopefully it'll fit on one video, we'll see. Go. All right, I am going to rewrite this the way I did the first one. X squared over x squared minus y squared divided by 4x over x, y minus x. Okay, now I flip this and change it to multiplication. So x squared over x squared minus y squared times y minus x over 4x. Okay, I can't cross anything out yet. I could these two because these are being multiplied, but I'm not going to do that yet. I want to write it all out and be all nice and clean and neat. So x squared times y minus x over 4x times x squared minus y squared. Okay, now I can cross out an x here. Let's do that. Oops. Let's get one of these x's out of here. Since it's being multiplied, I can do that. Now, notice how this one is x squared minus y squared. This is difference of squares. This up here, this plus, that's a problem. I can't factor it if it's a plus. But if it's minus, I can. And so I can factor this, and I end up with x times y minus x over 4 times x minus y times x plus y. Now, that's difference of squares, so I can factor that. Now look, these look almost the same, but they're not quite. If I take a negative out of this one, then I'll be able to cancel these. Okay, fine, I'll take a negative out. Jeez. Okay, -1. The x becomes positive, the y now becomes negative, because I pulled a -1 out of there. X minus y, x plus y. These go away. Now I'm going to put my equals over here so I have a little bit more room on the bottom of the page. -x over 4 times x plus y is your final answer. Let's do one more and hope it fits on the video. Okay, and then we'll be done. And this is an example. X squared minus 16 over 12y plus 36 divided by x squared plus, minus 12x plus 32 over Ooh, that's a mess.